right, to just catch our breaths because the play-in tournament, it is right around the corner. We got LeBron, we have Zion, Steph, De'Aaron Fox. Only 2 of those players are going to survive the play-in tournament out west. And what's waiting for them? Oh, you know, just Nikola Jokic and the defending champs with the top overall seed SGA and the Thunder. And then in the East, of course, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, they will meet yet again. And whoever wins that clash of former teammates, they are headed to New York for a series with the Knicks, while the loser will have 1 game, single elimination against DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. We haven't confirmed yet whether or not his daughter is going to be in attendance, but we are working on it, or Trae Young and the Hawks. So here are the matchups, though, that we actually know for sure. After really an effort that can only be described as blah yesterday by the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell and Cleveland got the matchup that they apparently wanted against the Orlando Magic. But when you look at the 3-6, I haven't been this excited for 3-6 since Say Fly. The Suns, the Wolves, Phoenix playing the best basketball of their season. And then you have a showdown of the newest rivalry in the league, the Bucks, the Pacers. We all remember Ballgate and all that happened there. And then, of course, Luka and his favorite opponent, the Clippers. But we have we have a week, right, to get to that. The play-in tournament, it is almost upon us, and we got a preview of the 8-9 matchup between the Lakers and the Pelicans on Sunday. Ramona Shelburne, help me break this down. I'm not sure if these are jammies or if something else is going on, but I do know that whatever he was wearing, he was locked in. LeBron James dishing out assists at career levels in the first half.
I mean, he was looking for Anthony Davis. He was looking to exploit their advantage in the paint, and he did that. 13 assists in the first half.
13 assists in the first half for LeBron James, dishing it out to Rui Hachimura there, who throws it down. The Lakers, they just took control of this early. LeBron James, the general of the offense here, 13 assists in the first half, by the way. That's a most for him in a half in his career. There's not many firsts for the King to achieve at this point, and yet still in the most important moments he is. Going ahead to the third quarter here, Zion Williamson, he really struggled in this game, getting stripped there. And then once again here, LeBron James on him, really saying, you know what, young fella, I know you have all the talent in the world, but let me just remind you, Ramona, how this is done. He was 1 of 7 from the field, had 2 turnovers when LeBron James was his primary
That was just a veteran defense right there, where LeBron gets in front of him, knows Zion's going to try to throw his shoulder at him, and LeBron pulls the chair out
This
from
was
under him.
momentarily concerning, though, Ramona, when Anthony Davis goes to the scorer's table, saying that you can see saying his back is hurting. He went to the ground. He came back up. After the game, Darvin Ham said, you know what, they just think it was a spasm and he's going to be good to go. LeBron James putting the icing on this one. Let's take a listen to him afterwards.
I do like the way we played today. Good test for us. Good regular season for us, even throughout everything that's went on throughout this whole season. For us to end the season 12 games over 500, 13 if you count the championship and in-season tournament. I mean, it's, everything we went through was a pretty good season for us.
So the Lakers get the win. That's the good news for LA fans. But here's the thing. If they win on Tuesday, their prize, it's not exactly enviable, right? They have a hot date with the defending champion Nuggets in the first round. And for all the people saying, they should lose, throw it. Greeny, my friend, I'm looking at you. We saw Get Up this morning. All right, bet, I hear you, but pick your poison, right? Sabonis and the Kings, which I don't need to remind LA fans, AD has never beat Sabonis in his career, or the Warriors, who just got historically hot from 3, playing some of the best basketball of their season against Los Angeles, right? And they won in their last meeting in Crypto.com Arena. So joining Ramona Shelburne and I in studio, Austin Rivers, Kendrick Perkins, beaming in from their respective homes. Now that you see the Lakers' path, Perk, how do you feel about it now?
Look, did the Lakers get a great win? Did they get a good win last night? Yes, they did. But was it a great win? No. Why? Because the mission is not complete. They're still in the play-in tournament. And I understand, right? We do want to see LeBron James. We do want to see Anthony Davis. It will be good for the NBA and the fan base. But at the end of the day, guess who's still at home? The New Orleans Pelicans, who is in a great position. They're going to come out and be a better team. Was LeBron James exceptional yesterday? Hell yeah, he was in playoff Bron mode. We saw him doing his best version of Magic Johnson, 13 dimes in the first half. We saw him take over in the second half scoring-wise. Anthony Davis was a monster, but the mission is not complete. And the Pelicans are going to be a far better team tomorrow at home, which is going to be a playoff atmosphere, and they're going to play better.
Right, and that's why this question, Austin, it seems asinine, frankly, to me, that there are folks that are saying the Lakers, they have a better chance if they're 8th and they play OKC. But, I mean, is it a real thing? It's something that people are saying. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would have to agree. They match up better with OKC. When we talk about OKC, they don't really have size, especially down low, when we're talking in their front court.
You think they
that's
should?
where Lakers' strength is.
You think they should? You think that
I'm not saying they should lose on purpose.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm not saying you don't ever lose on purpose. You don't ever lose on purpose. I'm just saying it would fall in their benefit if they were to lose tomorrow and then end up playing in that 9th, 10th game, and then playing what's that? Who they would play?
They would play.
That would be much better.
If they have the Thunder as their first round, then they'd either play Thunder or the Warriors. Have to get through that.
Way,
yeah.
Yeah, you don't lose on purpose because they don't match up that well with Sacramento anyway. I'm just saying they have no chance versus Denver. They have no chance of winning a series versus Denver. They at least have some type of chance with their experience and with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the size that they have and the team that they have. They could make a run similar to last year if they play a team like OKC. They have a better chance. They got 0 versus Denver. But listen, man, you don't lose games on purpose. They got their hands full tomorrow night. And we all know, Perk talks about it, New Orleans is a long, athletic team. They're going to challenge the Lakers. And then, listen, Sacramento, Sabonis, those guys have had the most success versus the Lakers. Sabonis has owned the AD matchup. And De'Aaron Fox, it's his playground every time he plays the Lakers. He's out there doing whatever he wants. So the Lakers got a tough road ahead, for sure.
Austin, you are dressed very well today, but right now you are being too cute, okay? You don't mess with the basketball gods. You don't even utter the thought that
I'm
maybe,
saying that. I'm not saying you lose on purpose.
Because, you don't try to lose on purpose. Don't even think it.
I'm just, you gotta, I hear you.
Well, okay, look, I called Darvingham this morning, okay? Because I know, listen, I'm driving in on LA radio, and that's exactly what everyone in LA is talking about on Sports Talk Radio. Should they throw the game? Should they maybe wink, or if it happens, it happens? No. You don't mess with the basketball gods. I called Darvingham this morning, the Laker coach, and said, hey, this is what everyone's talking. He goes, absolutely not. We are not messing around. There is no chance that we're even talking about that.
Right.
And Anthony Davis is fine. LeBron James is fine. I think the sense that, this game against the Pelicans on Sunday was not a competitive game. Like, they were up by 20 for most of the game. Some of that, you look at that and say, okay, well, they've had their number. They beat them 3 times this season. They beat them in the play-in tournament. So it's a good matchup for the Lakers and the Pelicans. But the Pelicans just had 2 great wins in Sacramento and in Golden State. They had some mechanical issues on their plane, from what I hear, and they didn't get into New Orleans until really late. That looked like a team that was absolutely spent in the last couple of games before they got to New Orleans. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but don't take Sunday as a barometer for what's going to happen in a play-in.
Because the previous 3 times the Lakers beat them, they haven't won by less than 15 points.
I mean, that is a very good point, Malika.
And I'm not saying that this is a shoe-in for the Los Angeles Lakers, by the way. As you mentioned, Zion Williamson, I fully expect, because when we saw him in the in-season tournament, he didn't have his best game. Last night, the most important game of the regular season, he really struggled. This is a game for him to get back. And whoever loses that game, they will have one more chance to play. So as excited as I am to see the Lakers and the Pelicans game and see how all that unfolds, there's nothing, that beats the stakes of a single elimination game that we are going to get between the Warriors and the Kings. So remember, Golden State is heading into tomorrow night's game. They are red hot. They've won 10 of their last 12 games, while the Kings, they're going to be looking for a little revenge after Steph sent them home with a 50-piece in Game 7 in last year's first round. So if their season series is any indication, really expect a close game on Tuesday. The Warriors and Kings, they split their 4 games against each other, and the last 3 were decided by 1 single point each. That is tied for the most consecutive games between teams where each game was decided by 1 point in NBA history. There's so many questions going into this. Who's going to guard Sabonis? Kevin Looney was the guy to do that last season, but it all comes down to this. Kendrick Perkins, will Steph Curry and the Dubs send the Kings packing for a 2nd straight year?
Hell yeah, they will. Hell yeah, they will. And look, it's no knock to De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis. I think both of those guys have had outstanding years this year when you talk about them playing. But missing Malik Monk and missing Kevin is huge for the Kings on the offensive end, because we already know that they're not playing a lick of defense. And the Kings want to outscore you. And the way that the Warriors have been playing, Draymond Green has elevated his game since coming back after the ejection. We know what Steph is capable of doing. Klay Thompson has been balling out of control of late. And then you have Jonathan Kuminga, probably coming in off the bench. Jackson Davis, he's been balling. Chris CP3, he's been coming up in some moments. This Golden State Warriors team, they're playing, and they have a lot of veterans with a lot of experience. And when I look at a depleted Sacramento team, they don't stand a chance in hell.
I mean, to me, this is Game 7 redo. I always think that young team is real interesting to see how the Kings respond after having lost that Game 7 last year. I was sitting up there at the Golden One Center for Game 7 when Steph dropped the 50-piece on him.
Yep.
And De'Aaron Fox, if you remember in this game, was right there with him, even though he had like a broken finger in this game. He played his butt off, but Malik Monk was great, as Perk mentioned. They're not going to have Malik Monk in this. You're not going to have Kevin Huerter in this. And so I think they are shorthanded. The bench is going to matter. They had a blueprint for how they defend Sabonis in that last series, but Kevon Looney's not starting anymore. So let's see what they do when they get into this game. It's an interesting matchup when there's just one game.
Not to mention, you look at last season and it was Fox and Davion Mitchell who got the primary Steph assignment. You would think it would be Keegan Murray potentially this year. So all of those little tweaks, adjustments, and the Golden State Warriors, they are a better team on the road. They're 25-16 on the road this season versus last season. But I sat down with Steph and De'Aaron together at the beginning of the year, and I could see De'Aaron was still thinking about that game. He was still talking about that game. They were still having little playful jabs back and forth about the changing of the guard and whether or not that's going to happen. This single game could be that moment where we see that come to blows once again, and I cannot wait. I can't believe we're 10 minutes into our show and we still haven't talked about the #1 seed in each conference. Heart monitor during the race for the 2 seed in the East. This is actually concurrently the chances for each respective team between the Knicks, the Cavaliers, and Milwaukee Bucks over the course of the afternoon on Sunday. Here is exactly how this all went down. So all 3 of these games tipped at the exact same time. So we're going to show you what was happening as Austin Rivers. How was the Magic game?
It was good. It was fun.
Got
good
a front
atmosphere
row
there.
seat.
Orlando basketball is back.
Orlando basketball is
sir.
clearly back. Great dunk there by Ben Caro. And then later in the quarter, the Magic up 64-59. Bobby Portis drives. Franz Wagner steals it. The Magic going up big in this one. So while they're up by 9, let's check in on the Hornets and the Cavs, because the Cavs look to have things in control, right? They lead 79-75. Strus finds Jared Allen there. Strus had 14 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds, his first career triple-double. The momentum, though, it started to shift away from the Cavaliers. You said it, not me, in the fourth quarter. The Cavs, they make a complete line change, benching their... And I mean, look at who's on the floor. You have 4 centers and Imani Bates, and respectfully, that's like 10 points a game that's out there. So the Cavaliers would lose this one to the Charlotte Hornets. So let's go back to Orlando then. Early in the fourth quarter, the Magic up 18 by this one. Oh, Cole Anthony. Bunnies. So it all comes down to this. What is happening between the Chicago Bulls, who are cemented in the play-in tournament, and the New York Knicks? Jalen Brunson gets that one to go. Madison Square Garden absolutely erupts. Check that. Dante DiVincenzo. And then a little bit later, Brunson.
With Alex Caruso, all-NBA defensive team player on him doing all this.
Jalen Brunson.
That's good defense.
It's great defense.
I mean,
couldn't get the shot to go, and so to overtime we go here. 3:15 left in this. Chicago up 1. Dante DiVincenzo, hot from 3, gets that one to go. And then Jalen Brunson throws it up. DeMar DeRozan, though, really doing everything he could to keep Chicago in this game.
Favorite for clutch player of the year.
1-point game, final seconds. Chicago has a chance to get up in it, and it wouldn't quite go. DeMar knows that's his shot. He got a good look, couldn't quite get it off. So the New York Knicks are your #2 seed in the Eastern Conference. As a reward for winning that 2 seed, the Knicks, they will get either Joel Embiid or a battle-tested Heat in round 1. So the 3-seeded Milwaukee Bucks, meanwhile, will face the Pacers. The Cavaliers will face the Magic after they clearly wanted it and dropped to 4, although I don't know why, because the Magic have been playing great this year. The Celtics, though, they clinched the top spot in the West like 3 weeks ago, so they were chilling in this one. So the playoffs, they go through Boston. But the question has been, because this is the time of the year that it actually really starts for the Celtics, Perk, who do you think is in the best position to challenge the Celtics in the East?
Is that a real question? Is that a real question? Look, I couldn't have my moment yesterday because Stephen A. just took the floor on the countdown, so damn it, I'm going to have it right now. You're looking at him, the number 2 seed, led by big body Brunson, Jalen Brunson. Look, this team is for real, and I don't know what else they have to do. Okay, when it comes down to the East, we don't really know what we're going to get out of Joel Embiid. I don't believe that he's even close to 100%. Miami Heat, they can't score offensively. But when I look at the New York Knicks and I look at the others, especially OG Anunoby, balling out of control, Isaiah Hartenstein, doing what he does best, ultimate role player, offensive rebounder, a guy with a high IQ, you know, making the offense work when the ball is not in Jalen Brunson's hands with dribble handoffs and things to that nature. Dante, he's been lighting it up. Culture, Tibbs has established that. So with the East being depleted and being not really good and everybody, you know, being injured, we don't know what you're going to get out of Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm looking at the New York Knicks, and they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Perk makes good points. They're definitely the safe pick when you talk about consistency throughout, especially as of late. The Knicks are definitely that team. But if we're talking about a real threat, a team with star power, it is the Milwaukee Bucks. The problem is we haven't seen this team play well yet, together. But for them to play the Knicks, it would have to be the conference finals. And if they're in the conference finals, Perk, by that time, they got to have it figured out. I mean, you can't get through the first round or second round and get all the way to the conference finals and not have some type of steam. For the Milwaukee Bucks, for me, it's either crash or burn when it comes to this playoffs. They're either going to do something and make a run and meet up with Boston, or they're going to fall apart right here in the first round because we haven't seen, any consistency from this team. We don't know what to expect. But when we terms about the greatest ceiling between them or the Knicks, without Julius Randle, I have to go Milwaukee Bucks. They have that man right there, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 2-time MVP, an NBA champion, with Bobby Portis, Brooke, and then, yes, the addition of Damian Lillard. So, as of right now, I think the Knicks are definitely the most consistent team to compete with Boston. But if we're talking greatest chance to actually compete, can anybody actually beat Boston? It has to be Milwaukee. This is what we want, right? This was the 2 seed prior to, obviously, yesterday. And I got to tell you, for someone who just lost and went back to a 3rd seed, they're in pretty damn good spirits. I don't think anybody wants to play Philly with Joel Embiid back. So they're in a decent position. They play Indiana first round, and then we'll see. If they can get it together and get some confidence and something going, Milwaukee's dangerous. We just haven't seen it yet.
Kendrick looks befuddled, but Ramona, I know you have another ingredient to just sort of toss into the pot and close the lid.
Hey, how about the team that they lost to in the Eastern Conference Finals last year that they could see in the first round, the Miami Heat? All right, that 7-8. I mean, Austin, you're right. Nobody wants to play Philly or Miami in the first round. I think Malika read that highlight where the Cavs had a line change at the end of the game because they didn't want to be in that game. I mean, be careful what you ask for because the Heat are now in the 8th spot. They don't care about what spot they're in. They played their way into the finals last year. Jimmy Butler's been getting ready to be playoff Jimmy all season long. I know they haven't been able to score in the regular season, but that's not when they're the Miami Heat. They're the Miami Heat when the playoffs start. And if you're Boston and you look across the aisle and that's your first-round opponent, you won all these games, and just to get back to the team that knocked you out last year, that's a hard one to swallow.
Perk, how you feel about that?
Oh, man. You know what's crazy is this, right? We don't know if Giannis is going to come back. So, obviously, no one is considering the Milwaukee Bucks a threat without Giannis, okay? That's number one. Number 2, when it comes down to the Miami Heat, we have to stop, okay? They have shown us time and time again of who they are this season, right? They struggle offensively. And in today's game, when you're talking about competing against the best, you have to be able to score the basketball at a high level. We remember Gabe Vincent was a huge part of this last season for us, the Miami Heat, especially when Tyler Hero went down. When you think about Caleb Martin, he hasn't risen to the occasion like we expect him to be. Is Bam Adebayo going to take that leap? Can Bam be a guy that you could trust in a series that's going to go out there and give you 25+ a night, more than 10+ rebounds a night, and anchor the defense? Can he do that? Jimmy looks tired, in my opinion.
Look, cut that clip. You could have said the same thing last year. They looked terrible going into the playoffs last year. Looked terrible in the 9-10. I mean, in the 7-8 game. It's the same thing every year.
We've seen playoff Jimmy. On Saturday, this game would have led because for the first time ever, 3 teams in a conference, they were tied for the top spot through 81 games because of this man, Victor Wembanyama. Third quarter, yeah, sure, he pulls up for 3 there. Spurs still trailing. Victor, once again, he decides to test his range. Okay, he hit 17 points in the third quarter in a 3-minute span. So going ahead to the fourth here, under 6 minutes to go in the fourth, the Spurs trail by 7. Not anymore, thanks to Victor.
Look at that extra effort on the putback, on the offensive rebound. He just decided they were going to win this game.
35 seconds to go in the fourth. Devontae Graham makes the layup. The Spurs trail by 1. Yeah, and then the next Nuggets possession, Jokic goes for the jumper. Can't quite get it to go.
That's the bread and butter right there.
Spurs grab the rebound, Austin. The Spurs don't call a timeout. On to the other end of the floor. Devontae Graham makes the floater with 0.9 seconds to go. Spurs, they take a 1-point lead. But we've seen the Nuggets make amazing inbound plays before. Looking, but look at the clock. Got to get it in. 5 seconds. Murray looking around for someone, and a 5-second violation was called. The Nuggets, they blow a 23-point lead. Wembanyama and the Spurs complete their largest comeback win of the season, and all I'm saying is no rookie has ever made first-team all-defense. I think that is about to change. But the Nuggets, they are in the postseason. The Spurs are not. So statistically, the Nuggets, they were better this regular season than they even were last year when they were the top seed in the West, and they went on a run through the playoffs. But as you can see, they have a better record, offensive efficiency, and a better net efficiency than a year ago. So Kendrick Perkins, they aren't the top seed in the West, but the Nuggets, I mean, are they the clear-cut favorite to win again?
They are, but it's not, no, I wouldn't say clear-cut, Malik. I'm not going to say that because it's a lot of Western Conference teams that could represent the West in the NBA Finals. I think the winner of the Mavs and the Clippers series is going to be interesting. The Minnesota and Phoenix series is going to be interesting. But they still are the favorites, but it's not by a large margin like, everyone is trying to paint it. But I am going to show respect to Jokic. I am going to show respect to Murray. I am going to show respect to that starting 5 because it is the best starting 5 in basketball. But at times, what I have seen from the Denver Nuggets is vulnerability on the bench. Losing Jeff Green, losing Bruce Brown. Who's going to step up to the plate? Is Reggie Jackson going to be consistent? Is Christian Braun going to be consistent? Those are some of the answers that I'm going to be looking for when watching this Denver Nuggets team throughout this postseason run.
So what I'm hearing from you, Kendrick Perkins, right now is, as you would say, yes. Is that what I'm hearing? The whisper. The yes. Yes. Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm making sure I'm hearing that right. So the Nuggets, right? They're looking to become the first champion to repeat since 2018. But you know what's been even longer? Having the same team finish in the top spot in the West, because OKC is the 7th different team to finish in that 1 seed over the last 7 years. And by the way, the youngest team to do so since seeding began in 1984. But I know, Austin, we don't know who they're going to play quite yet. But do you think that they should be favored to advance no matter what?
No, I do not. No, I do not. And I'll tell you why right here. To the point you just said, they are the youngest team. They don't have that experience. And when we look at what's involved in the play-in, sure, these teams have had struggle in their season when we talk the Warriors, when we talk the Lakers. But these are both teams, even the Pelicans. The only team that I think OKC has a clear-cut victory, verse would be probably Sacramento. But when we talk about the Lakers and their interior size, it's problematic. When we talk about New Orleans' size, problematic. The Pelicans are probably the biggest team out of the 3. And then when we talk about the Warriors, what they lack in size, they make up in experience. We're talking about a championship ball club. So listen, I'm a fan of OKC. I love Shai Alexander. He's probably second in the running in MVP. Some people have him as 1. I love Jalen Williams. I love the success that they've been able to build in their first year really all together now that we have Chet fully healthy. This is a team for the ages and a team for the next, 5-10 years is probably going to be competing at a high level. We'll start with 5. But when we talk about right now, they are very young. They don't have experience. And when we talk about them versus Warriors or Lakers or even Pelicans with their size and their length, it could be trouble. Like, this is not just going to be a unanimous 1 seed just wins. This kind of reminds me, I'm not comparing them to Utah, the team, but just in the aspect that you remember Utah was the number 1 seed. No one really had this team going the distance. I still think Denver's a clear-cut team to come out the West. In my opinion, I just think they're better than everybody else. And when we talk specifically OKC, I don't think anything's promised with them. They are young. They're talented. It's going to be a good series, but I think they are beatable. I really do.
I mean, look, I out of respect for whoever, whenever they play, when we do our picks, I think they should be the favorite just because they won the toughest conference in basketball that we've seen in the last 5 years. Like the West this year was a gauntlet. You have teams like the Lakers, the Warriors. Those teams actually won more games this year than they did last year, and they finished lower in the standings because of how tough the West is. And Oklahoma City flat out won the West. Chet Holmgren played 82 games.
Right.
I mean, if you want to know how competitive Chet Holmgren is, go listen to the podcast that Adrian Wojnarowski did with him a couple weeks ago. That man, he heard that he was going to be fragile, that he couldn't play every game. He went out and played 82 out of 82, and I love his Twitter feed where he put the sign where he was tracking every single game.
Right.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, death taxes, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting 30. That's what he does. He's so consistent. And so I know they are young. They're the youngest team to win 55 games since the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2010, 2011. So young, 23 and a half years. Okay?
They have all of the pieces.
But they don't know what they don't know.
Sure. The only thing that is missing is the experience.
And the size.
Wojnarowski is joining us for this conversation as well because, Woj, they top to bottom have put together a roster that can compete with anyone. Size is the one question, but it's also the coaching that they have been able to put together for this group at the right time. I know you have more on that front.
Yeah, Mark Dagnall, the Thunder's coach, he's been named the National Basketball Coaches Association's Coach of the Year. That's voted on by the other 29 head coaches. You can't vote for yourself. A pretty decisive winner. You know, Dagnall, you've seen a dramatic improvement each year on the job. And, you know, this is a coach and an organization that when you compare them to the rest of the league this year, only one other team was top 5 in offensive and defensive efficiency. That was the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics. And I think this is a team that, you know, certainly is way ahead of schedule. They only were out of the postseason for 2 years. You think back to the Chris Paul bubble team. And when people talk about that rebuild in Oklahoma City and all the picks they had, and obviously this was jump-started with the trade with the Clippers and getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get a future MVP, which he will be at some point. It's not this year. To get him in his early 20s in a trade and then to build around him. But, you know, Mark Dagnall, who's really the third coach that Sam Presti's hired in Oklahoma City, that's been a coach of the year. You go back to Scott Brooks, Billy Donovan, and now Dagnall. This is an Oklahoma City team that may be ahead of schedule, but still they're going to be a very difficult out in the postseason.
Right. Mark Dagnall, the coach's coach of the year, and now they are marching into the postseason as the number 1 seed with all this momentum behind them. I think it's going to be exciting to see if they can maybe upset one of those more experienced teams. And I realize I'm saying upset about a number 1 seed. It's time now for Setting the Pick, brought to you by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. So while we have to wait, right, to see who the Thunder may play in the first round, we know the Suns and the Wolves series. It's going to kick off Saturday in Minnesota, and everyone here, Ramona, Perk, Austin, all taking the Wolves to win their first playoff series in 20 years. We have all week to find out why. But the question I have right this moment is, who are you picking at home? So download the ESPN Bet app to get started. New customers receive $100 in bonus bets once they place their first sportsbook bet with ESPN Bet. By Intuit Credit Karma in the final regular season game at Crypto.com Arena for the Los Angeles Clippers. This is former Clipper Boban Marjanovic. Reminded us all why fans love him so much. I mean, Boban, he realizes fans want him to miss a free throw so they can get some free chicken. You see what he was saying there? He's mouthing, "I got you," while pointing to the crowd. So then he proceeds to miss it on purpose. Once a fan favorite, always a fan favorite, am I right? So speaking of the Clippers, they've played their last regular season game in Crypto Arena. Their brand new Intuit Dome. It'll open in August of this year. And you can see the new Intuit Dome and the Clippers. They have a shared goal to support the local communities, including financial education for students and small businesses. And needless to say, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, he was excited about the grand opening coming later this summer.
We want this to be the penultimate basketball experience on the planet. As good as it gets, the pinnacle, the peak. Now, of course, some years somebody will bypass us, but man, we have put everything into getting ahead of that in this building. I'm really excited for this year's playoffs. Even though they won't be here, I am excited.
Honestly, I should just make that my alarm clock. I am excited.
Oh, I can't wake up like that.
So I need to, right? So speaking of those playoffs, the Mavericks are slight favorites to beat the Clippers as a -120 favorite in this series. This is all according to ESPN Bet. It starts on Sunday right here. Some top dunks. Malik Monk, man, was he fun to watch this season. I'm bummed we're not going to get to see him in this play-in game coming up here between the Kings and the Golden State Warriors because Perk, this man, is electric.
Ooh. Anytime you get a cockback off of two legs, it's something serious.
But then Anthony Edwards, asserting himself for Duncan here right there. I mean, oof.
God bless America.
And then, of course, Victor Wembanyama. Which one do you like best, Perk? Which one do you got?
I'm going with Anthony Edwards. That was a violation.
Thank you.
To dislocate your finger in the process, you want to see a dead body?
Oh, my goodness. Well, how about top dimes? DeMar DeRozan, right? The kick out. Ooh, okay. Kobe White in the corner. You have to hit that, right, Austin? When your teammate does that, you got to hit
That hurt
it.
my back.
Well,
That hurt my back watching that.
This one, the side out of bounds, Jokic to the alley-oop. How? And then,
it's Jokic.
Of course, Luka. You need to have Luka. Behind the back.
Come on.
Oh.
Which one do you like the best, Austin?
That was with his left.
I'm going DeRozan just because I couldn't even dream of attempting doing a reverse 360, throwing it the other way without spraining something in my left or right side.
That's like a
I'm
chiropractic
going
adjustment
DeRozan.
just as you do it. All right, we got some top blocks now. Of course, I mean, this one, remember though, this one, it sealed the game, Ramona. So there were stakes for this one.
And he also had missed a couple free throws right before that. He had to get it back.
This one was pretty good from Pascal Siakam, though. He said, get that out of there. We're playing volleyball. And then, of course, once again, Victor Wembanyama on Giannis.
I mean, we have to have.
Mama.
On Giannis.
Which one?
Ant keeps it inbound. We got to go with Ant. Come on, he hit his head on the rim. He hurt his head. He had ice pack afterwards.
Also, it sealed the game.
Come on, I mean,
like when it seals the game and you're unafraid to get the
that landing too. That made me gas every time.
I got another one for you guys. How about best buzzer beaters? Max Strus, right? We got his full court dime here, Austin.
Ooh, yeah,
that was a winner
just from the distance. My goodness.
But
Talk
this
about
Jokic
basketball
one,
gods, Ramona.
I didn't think this was going in.
Oh, that just broke the heart of the Warriors. Think about the
I
standings too now. That one game. Oh,
I know. And then Kyrie Irving.
This is it right here.
That's the one. That's the one, right?
That's
It's
the
got to
one.
be Kyrie.
It's got to be Kyrie.
They're all incredible, but Kyrie, I'd never seen that before. With the left?
He practices that.
With the left?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I got a soft spot for Jokic. I'm sorry.
We have
When does he
last,
ever get that excited?
and I guess the least, we have some bloopers
Oh, no.
to enjoy. With all
we
my
go.
love to
Shoot
Jordan
it.
He contemplated
He
shooting
thought about
it.
At
shooting
least he
it.
didn't travel.
Yeah. And they scored
He's
anyways.
gonna shoot that.
Then you got the Bulls.
Oh, no, I can't watch this again.
I can't see it. Oh.
What would you have done? I mean, I
I need
just.
the angle. Oh, I need the angle from up top.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. Oh, poor Drummond. Oh.
And Andre Drummond is one of.
Veterans, though.
I
That's the
so
bad part.
enjoy being around
this one,
Andre
this one.
Drummond and covering him. That one just. That hurts to watch. They may, though, have won Best Blooper, but they will be able to win their home playing game against the Atlanta Hawks. That's the question. If they can, they will face the loser of the Sixers and Heat game. That's on Wednesday on ESPN. And then the West play-in bracket, full of stars, right? Zion, LeBron, De'Aaron Fox, Steph Curry.
Các bạn vừa xem xong video phân tích của chúng tôi. Sau đây sẽ là video hướng dẫn cách làm một bông hoa trang trí màu vàng như thế này. Bây giờ các bạn bắt tay vào làm với mình nhé. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã trở lại với kênh của mình. Để bắt đầu vào làm thì ở đây mình đã chuẩn bị những nguyên liệu và dụng cụ như sau này. Về nguyên liệu thì ở đây mình có chuẩn bị những cái tờ giấy màu. Ở đây mình có hai màu, màu vàng và màu xanh lá cây. Còn về dụng cụ thì ở đây mình có một chiếc compa này, một cây thước kẻ, một cây những cái cây bút màu nước như thế này. Đó. Một chiếc bút chì này. Không thể thiếu đó chính là kéo cắt giấy nhé. Và cục mình chuẩn bị keo dán nữa. Các bạn có thể sử dụng vào các loại keo hoặc bột dán có thể dính nước giấy ra được. Ở đây mình sử dụng là keo nến nhé. Và bây giờ thì mình sẽ bắt tay vào làm nhé. Đầu tiên mình sẽ đi cắt cái tờ giấy màu xanh lá cây này. Và mình sẽ cần xoay ra một hình tròn, nên là mình sẽ sử dụng con ta và một cây thước kẻ. Ở đây mình sẽ để bán kính là 6 cm. Và mình sẽ cắt hình tròn này ra nha. Đó, mình đã cắt được một cái hình tròn như thế này. Tiếp theo mình sẽ sử dụng cái tờ giấy màu vàng. Đối với cái tờ giấy màu vàng này, bây giờ các bạn sẽ tiếp tục dùng con ta và xoay cho mình một hình tròn. Hình tròn này mình sẽ để bán kính là 4 cm thôi nha. Nhỏ hơn cái hình tròn màu xanh này. Và mình sẽ xoay ra đây một hình tròn màu vàng. Và mình sẽ cắt hình tròn màu vàng này ra nha. Đó, như vậy là mình đã cắt xong rồi. Sau khi mà đã cắt xong rồi, bây giờ mình sẽ dùng cái bút chì này. Mình sẽ vẽ cái phần cánh hoa ra đây. Mình đã vẽ xong những cánh hoa rồi, mình sẽ cắt ra nha. sẽ cắt theo những cái đường mà mình vừa vẽ bằng bút chì ra. Như vậy là mình đã cắt xong bông hoa này. Mình sẽ dùng cái bút màu nước để mình tô lại cho đẹp. Dùng màu cam. Mình sẽ tô lại những cái đường ở bên ngoài này. Mình sẽ dùng những cái chấm bi để trang trí cho bông hoa này. Đó, như vậy là mình đã vẽ xong cái phần bông hoa màu vàng như thế này. Giờ mình sẽ gắn vào giữa cái phần khung tròn màu xanh nhé. Đó. Tiếp theo bây giờ các bạn sẽ cắt cho mình một cái sợi dây như thế này. Mình sẽ vẫn sử dụng bằng tờ giấy màu xanh lá nha. Đây. Sau đó là mình sẽ gắn lên cái phần hình tròn này. sẽ để khoảng tầm 16 cm là được nhé. Đó. Sau đó mình sẽ sử dụng một cái giấy màu khác màu. Các bạn có thể sử dụng bằng màu hồng, màu đỏ và những cái màu khác, màu xanh lá và màu vàng là được. Đây, mình sẽ cắt ra một mẫu giấy như thế này. Sau đó mình sẽ vẽ cái phần chuông ra đây nha. Mình sẽ vẽ một cái hình giống như cái chuông ấy. Giờ mình sẽ cắt cái phần chuông này ra nha. Đây, mình đã vẽ xong rồi. Đó. Giờ mình sẽ gắn được cái phần dây bên dưới này nha. Này, sau khi mình gắn thì mình sẽ được cái phần chuông như thế này. Tiếp theo bây giờ mình sẽ sử dụng cái bút màu nước. Mình sẽ trang trí cho phần chuông nhé. Mình sẽ vẽ thêm cho cái chuông và cái chấm bi này. Đó, như vậy là mình đã làm xong một cái bông hoa trang trí có hình tròn và bông hoa màu vàng. Có thêm gắn cái quả chuông lắc như thế này nữa. Mình có thể dùng nó để dán cửa và dán tường nhé. Và video của mình đến đây là hết rồi. Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người vào các video tiếp theo nhé. Xin chào tạm biệt.